Good morning. Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone today? Welcome, welcome. Please read the show notes. I'm Dana, aka Draz. This is my walk and talk seller chat. I'm here on the treadmill. Welcome in. So I've added a new star bullet to the show notes. So those of you who've been here before, um, make sure you go and look in the show notes and scroll all the way down. There is a star bullet that talks about the official Whatnot Meetup Hub, which is a website where you can go and view and apply if you would like to host a Whatnot seller meetup in your local area, or see the ones that have already been scheduled that possibly are in your area that you could attend. Good morning, Lisa. Hello, everyone. So yeah, make sure you read the show notes and look at that new Whatnot meetups. And I've also got in the um, auction tab a little thing about that that just shows you the what it looks like on the main cover of that website page. And it's just a meetups.whatnot.com. That's what it is. Meetups.whatnot.com. And you can go see if there are any events coming up in your local area, or apply if you would like to sponsor a local meetup. So there's no guarantee you'll get approved, because it just depends on if they've already had one in that area recently, or if there's enough sellers in that area that they feel like it would be justified, et cetera, et cetera. But you can always apply and see, if you want to. So welcome in. Okay, my chat is really weird on my iPad. It's like cut off. It's bugging me because I can hardly see the chat. I don't know why it's like this. Does anyone else have an iPad that's doing weird things? Because see, normally I can see the full chat, and look, it's only showing me like two things. I mean, partly because I pinned a note, but I usually can, and I can usually expand it. So that's super annoying. Let me see if there's something I can do on the screen. Anyway, I've got this other phone I can look at, but it's super annoying. I do need to get a newer iPad. This one's old, but during our shows, I use the laptop anyway. So, all right, let me look at the. All right, so read the show notes. If you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark. So, couple of things that I've learned about. And I know one person has been affected by this. I know of one person. Apparently, there's something going on. I don't have an explanation other than to say that it's a known issue, which is that some people are having shows, completing shows, and then it is not letting them cash out. So if that's happening to you, message me and let me know, because I'm going to forward your information as someone who's been affected by that. So I know of two people right now that that's happening to, where it's not letting them. They already have met their 1,000 sales and should be able to get instant payout, and it's not letting them. So that's a known issue. You can only see 5 lines of chat. Okay. So yeah, let me see on my iPhone if it looks better. Well, because normally there's that little arrow thing, and I'm seeing it on Android. See, I can on my Android phone see that little arrow. I can click that and expand the chat up like this. But on the iPad and the iPhone, that little arrow has disappeared. So I can't expand the chat. So I don't know what's going on with that. So maybe it's an iPhone issue. I'll have to take a screenshot and ask. So I don't know. They've been doing lots of updates lately, and it just seems like every time they do lots of updates, something else gets messed up. So I feel for them though. I can't imagine trying to program whatnot with the amount of growth that they've had. It's, I mean, kind of mind blowing. I know just enough about programming because I did learn HTML and learn how to make websites and a long time ago. And my daughter is in college right now and just did an information systems class where she had to build a website. And so it kind of all brought it back to my memory because she was showing me the little website she created and all the coding. And I mean, it gave me anxiety, honestly. So, yes. So I can't imagine trying to program everything. It would drive me crazy. Not my vibe for sure. Coding. So hats off to the people that keep us all going, trying to get it all set up correctly. Yes, updates always create new issues for sure. All right, welcome in everybody. Thanks for joining. Happy Thursday. Read the show notes. This is a seller chat, so place where you can come and ask questions and where we just talk about things going on, and I can try to help you and guide you if there's things that you need help with. So, um, in my auction tab, so if you click the shop and in the auction tab, there are 18 different items. You can see me scrolling through them on the screen. And these are just um, things that you can tap the picture and then look at the information that's in there. So this is the new Whatnot Meetups Seller Hub that I was talking about that's in the show notes. And it's a website where you can go view or sign up to host seller hosted events for community members, get together face to face to network with others who really get what they do. So I took that right off the little hub. So, and again, that's in the show notes. The address, the link for that is meetups.whatnot.com. So if you want to go there. So that's pretty new. They released that, gosh, I want to say maybe a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, but it's pretty new. So that's exciting. I think a lot of they were going to do an update show this month and then it got moved out. So I think our next update show for, major things they've updated to give us the heads up on is in January. Let's go look at the Whatnot seller account. And I think they scheduled it for, yeah, the 7th of January. So make sure you have that show bookmarked on Whatnot Sellers on the 7th. And they'll be talking about a recap of all the updates they've put in. It's kind of hard to get an audience and hard for them to get focused during the holidays on all of that. So that will be on the 7th of January. And pretty much today was, or no, yesterday, I would say, was the last day to really ship anything priority and have it possibly, hopefully, get to people in time for Christmas. So your focus now with selling will just be, regular sales of things that people aren't expecting in time for Christmas. So don't promise anyone that you're going to get it to them in time for Christmas. It ain't going to happen because we don't have the option to ship um, overnight, and you don't have the option to go through other services to fulfill it, and you do need to fulfill, hey, like it, swipe it. You do need to fulfill your orders through the Whatnot system. So don't be promising anyone that they're going to get something that you ship today or forward in time for Christmas. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah. So we're in that period of kind of awkward time where it's like, yeah, we're selling stuff, but no, it's not for Christmas. It's for whenever, and it ain't happening. So just have fun. Just have fun. Spread holiday cheer. Have fun shows. Kick back. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's kind of a, yeah, no guarantees after yesterday. Exactly. And honestly, I started telling people no guarantees after about the 10th, because the way this postal system's been going anyway, probably not going to happen. So, yeah, just is what it is. And I was at the post office yesterday, and I always get horrible looks because we always walk in with our pre-labeled packages, and the line at our little local post office was through the lobby, out the lobby, and into the lobby, and clear back by the post office boxes. And we're like, excuse us, and we go through and drop our packages off, and everybody always gives you dirty looks. We don't have a way to go through the back, so ours is a smaller post office, and so it's like one way in, one way out. And so, yeah, I mean, there's double doors, so we can go around the line and go through the other door into the counter. But yeah, it's kind of funny. So, yeah, and they always look at us with our huge thing of packages, because we have a little what do you call it, like a little cart thing that we put them all in and take them in, and they look at us like, I hate you. So, yeah, I don't do pickup just because I like to be in 100% control of, making sure it actually got to the post office that day. So, oh, you use a shipping service? Yeah, that works. Oh, Bushel and Peck. So that's a cute name. I like that. So anyway, that's what we do. Okay, so yeah, in the auction tab, there's all those seller help things that you can go through if you need help with anything. Um, just kind of scroll through there, and most of them are a one-page deal, but some of them are multiple pages. So, like this shipping 101, if you tap the picture, tap it again, and then swipe, you've got like 4 pages of stuff that you can screenshot. So, yeah. So, is anyone having issues, problems, concerns? Um, I do have a way to pass along feedback. So if you have any feedback, things that you're happy about, things you're upset about, there's a way I can pass along feedback. You may or may not hear back from me depending on, whether it's an issue that they can publicly say anything about, but it does get forwarded on. So, and a lot of times the feedback that we can present to them causes immediate action. So if there's, a glitch that's happening that they can easily fix, it will get taken care of. So always report, things you see, things you're, having problems with, so that it can get fixed. And I know it's kind of frustrating that they don't have um, a call person you can actually call and talk to. And you do have to go through either email or through the little virtual assistant system to try and get help. I know it's frustrating. I know they're backed up. Um, it is what it is because of how fast the app grew. They just don't have, um, staff in place to handle, things as fast or as efficiently that they would love to. But they are working on getting more staff and getting more people in place. But it's also a training issue because if you have people who have never used the app trying to be the person who helps the people using the app, there's a miscommunication and they're trying to, so they love to hire people who have sold on the app to help work customer service. So if you feel like you've got enough experience, and relative experience, and you've sold on the app and you're interested in possibly working for Whatnot, um, definitely look and apply for jobs because they're more interested in people who have experience using the app so that, you know, obviously you're going to have some relative experience and, be able to give a good interview, et cetera, et cetera. But, it gives you a hands up over someone who's never used and worked with and sold on the app. So definitely worth looking into if that would be interesting to you. And they're definitely hiring in the area of trust and safety because that's a big concern. They're trying to boost that up a lot and make sure that everybody feels comfortable on the app and is, um, getting the help they need, getting rid of the scammers, etc. So it's quiet today. Nobody has any questions. Everybody's doing swimmingly well on the app. Your shows are going great. Sounds like it. No complaints. All right. So, yeah, if you do have a question, put it in chat with a question mark and let us know what's going on in your mind. So, let's talk about, um, what you're trying to achieve next year. So, we talked about goals recently, and I think it's really important to write down, really brainstorm and write down what it is you want to do with Whatnot. If you're here and you're wanting to sell, what's your goal? What is it that you want to achieve? And it could be as simple as, I'm just experimenting to see if it's something that I want to do, put more time and effort into. Um, so, it could be that simple that you're just experimenting, but have a goal with that experimenting. I'm investigating this to see if I feel like it will work for me. So I'm going to do XYZ to make sure that I feel like it's worth my time and effort. See what I'm saying? Oh, you're getting ready for the day, hanging on my every word. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, figure out what it is you're doing here and what you want to achieve. If your goal is, yeah, no pressure. Um, if your goal is, I just found out about Whatnot. I've been looking at it. It looks amazing. I want to be a big time seller on Whatnot. Here's what I need to do, and you need to really research how to do it right, how to get going, get off on the right foot, and, you know, make it happen. Maybe you're just investigating whether you want to sell it all, apply to sell it all, you know, but write it all down and do your research to make sure that the efforts you put into it match what you're wanting to get out of it, you know, because I think a lot of people, fail to plan, and then, they just kind of flail around and they don't really have a set goal, and it's not really going to get you anywhere because you don't really have, achievable things that you're working towards. So, yeah, and prepare to never sleep. Amen to that, right? So, yeah, those of us who are who are, either a really big side gig or full time on whatnot, it is not for the weak. That's for sure. That's for sure. If we've been full time on whatnot since, well, legit full time for more than 2 years, but I complete 100% all of our income comes from whatnot June of last year. So Lynn says, I'm a little worried about my next show. I've had two wowzer shows, one dud and one so-so, but shipping about broke me. Oh, yikes. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of a rough time right now during that, like I said, those last few weeks of the year are just kind of like, whatever, just kind of have fun, chill, enjoy, have kind of fun, laid back shows because people have either already spent their wad and the last minute Christmas gifts can't come from online sources because they won't get shipped in time. Every once in a while, you'll have someone say, oh, I still want it, as a gift. And it's okay if it doesn't make it because I'm going to go visit my grandma 2 weeks later or something. So you'll have stuff like that. But yeah, you work harder for whatnot than your day job. I won't tell. Yeah. There's a lot of people that's true, you know, so that have day jobs or night jobs or whatever. And then they also are putting in, 40 hours a week trying or more trying to make whatnot work for them too. So yeah, a lot of people work hard. And that's okay. Hard work is good. Hard work is good. It's good because it keeps you busy. It's good because it keeps your mind active. It's good because you're helping be productive instead of a leech on society. It's good because, all of the reasons that you're providing for yourself, you're providing for other people. You are, actively doing all the good things. So hard work. Don't be afraid to work hard. It honestly is so much better than the opposite. You know, there's nothing worse than being really unproductive and feeling horrible about yourself and not being able to provide for yourself. And I know there's some people that have, disabilities or emotional problems or mental problems or whatever, and it's hard for them to really work. But I always say, lift yourself up, do the best you can. Hard work is a good thing. So, yeah, whatnot has been great to me. Be a good person, be legit, and sell what you're passionate about, and you can't fail. Exactly. Exactly. Don't be afraid to put in the work because that's really, where success comes from is our legitimate efforts to make life better for ourselves and other people. So it makes a huge difference. Yes, there are a lot of people with emotional problems here and on the internet in general. Um, and I would say we're all more alike than we are different. Life is hard, period. Life is hard, period. And everybody has their bag of things that are slung over their shoulder they're carrying around. And if we can help ease each other's burdens instead of making it worse, hallelujah, right? Be the person who helps carry someone else's load and in change because of someone else's abilities, talents. They help carry yours too. Does that make sense? Be there for each other. Be there for each other. Make life easier, not harder. There's no reason to make life harder for yourself or for other people. Be an uplifter, not a burden. So that's huge. That's huge. If more people would have that mindset, um, it would just be an amazing world. And it is an amazing world already because enough people have that we're carrying the load for a lot. But yeah, exactly. You won't remember what I sold. You won't remember all the stuff I showed. But if you can make someone's feel better and have an enjoyable time in your shows and you lift people up, that makes a huge difference. Yep, huge difference. So try your best, work hard, do what you do best, and do it better. Do it better. Get a little bit better every day. It's interesting when you um have any of you ever read the studies or the books or the people who have written about spending time with people at the end of their life and their biggest regrets? They always talk about relationships and time spent helping other people and being with other people. They don't talk about their job. They don't talk about how much money they made. They don't talk about their possessions. They talk about wishing that, the ones that are well adjusted and happy are the ones that spent the time to build relationships and be with people that they love and help other people and do all those kind of things. And so if we can all focus a little bit more on that. And I know we have to make money, sadly. We have to make money because we have to provide for our families. We have to put a roof over our head. We have to put food in our mouths. And so why not do the best you can to make that positive, while you're putting money in the bank, right? So that's why you always come in and hijack. You're not hijacking, you're here being my friend. I love it. Please come. The more the merrier. So it's a good thing. Yep, good thing. Anyway, so yeah, try to be positive, try not to have a competitive attitude, try to spread the good vibes. I honestly lately have just been so busy with trying to, do all the things with the people in my life that I'm honestly not on Whatnot as much as I used to be, which is probably a good thing. I'm here when I need to be. I do my shows, I come onto this show, and I do try and pop into other people's shows here and there, but honestly, I'm just not on as much as I used to be because, I'm busy with my granddaughter, with my kids, helping people in my community. I'm doing other things that are good. And so it's hard to have balance, but it's important. And it is important too to not get too lost on here because then your reality of where you live and what's going on around you in your life can get off balance. So do try to find a good balance of shutting off, Whatnot and other social media and other things and spend some time with real, with not real, with physically with the people around you and in your community and things like that. So, yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, I do like, being part of the community and spending a lot of time on here, but I have to have a balance or then I'm neglecting my husband, my granddaughter, my kids, the people around me physically that need my attention. And so it's important to find a balance. And there's lots of things you can do. You can, um, one of the things I try to do is if you look at my account, I follow a lot of people. There are sellers, there's big time sellers on here where you'll go into their account and maybe they have a separate account where they're following more people, but you'll go into their account and it's like they only follow a couple hundred sellers and yet they've got, 100,000 followers or something. So you can follow people. And then the other thing I like to do is I try to bookmark shows for people. That's a nice thing to do. It helps them in the algorithms if they have more followers and more bookmarks. So it doesn't hurt you to bookmark other people's shows. Does it clog up your notifications if you have notifications turned on? Yes. So if you legit want legit notifications, I can see not wanting to have millions of bookmarks. I personally, if I want to be in a specific show, I put it on my own personal calendar. I have my notifications turned off because I just get too much stuff. So, you know, do what works for you and what you can do to support other sellers. But that's one of the things I try to do. My husband is at the courthouse this morning. Oh, not really, but the struggle is real. Yes. So when you go bookmark to be nice and you know you're not going to go, hit that bell. Yes. At the same time to turn off the notification for that person. Yeah, you could do both. Yeah. Yep. So, do what you can do. And you can also share. If there's someone that's doing a show and you know someone that would probably want to be there, share it. Because that's a legitimate share because you're inviting someone who you know is going to want something they have or be interested in what they have. So sharing is also something you can do. And you should be utilizing your social media off of whatnot. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, sharing not only your shows, but other people's shows and helping other people grow. That's something kind and helpful that you could do as well. Welcome in. Please read the show notes. So I have added a new start bullet. It's the very last one, and it is it tells you about the Whatnot Meetups Hub, which is a little website they've put together where you can go and look to see if there are Whatnot local meetups for sellers in your area coming up, or you can also apply to host a local meetup. So that's the last start bullet in the show notes. And the address for that is meetups.whatnot.com. So the word meetups, all one word, .whatnot.com. So go check that website out and look at the coming up events. Good morning, Faye West. Speaking of upcoming events, Faye West is helping with an event in Oklahoma coming up in January. So Like It, Swipe It is the unauthorized co-host because I ain't exercising to save my life. Oh dear. Well, just do active things all day. So get up, walk around, climb stairs, do some things outside every once in a while. So January 10th, a few more spots left for the meetup. So if anyone's in that area, make sure you go to that website. So again, it is meetups.whatnot.com. And you can look for the ones coming up in your local area. If you live in a certain area where they're hosting one, they usually send out an email invite that you can respond to. So make sure you're checking your emails. That's another thing I always remind people. And I'll be honest with you, I am terrible with email. I hate email because every email address I've ever owned, and I have like 4, and I've had to get rid of others because you just get so much junk and it's so hard to go through. And it's like, I don't want to spend my life sorting emails. And so I'm terrible about emails, but go into your email and search Whatnot and look for the ones that come from Whatnot. And then, I'm sure I've missed really important things, but I'm kind of, my email attitude is like, if I'm looking for something, I'll go look and find it. And if there's something really important for me that I need to go find it, I'll find it myself. You don't need to email me. I don't know. I'm terrible with email. So, and I'm kind of bad with even the system on here because it gets a little bit spammy if everybody's sharing their shows. I love that they finally separated out, where you get those emails that you aren't friends with someone and they're just spamming you, and it's in a separate account or a separate section, and you have to accept it or reject it. I'm like, thank you, because I just get overwhelmed with email, and I think I don't want to be the person who goes to their deathbed and it's like, what's my regrets that I spent too many hours sorting email. No thanks. So I honestly am not really good with email because I'll have people like the bank or um, doctor's offices or whatever will tell me, oh, well, we emailed you. And I'm like, don't email me. It ain't going to happen. If you don't text me, I'll never see it. So, and if text ever becomes like email, I think I'm going to go live in a cabin in the woods because it's like, stop, enough. So, yeah. Hey, Chrissy Woo, how are you today? Welcome in. So yeah, I'm gonna report on the iPhone and the iPad, the little arrow to expand chat is gone. It's still there on Android. So see, on my Android phone, I can expand the chat and see all of it. On here, that little arrow is missing to expand chat. Super annoying. You're great. Awesome. So that disappeared. I don't know why, but it makes it hard to read the chat on my bigger device. Annoying. So did I miss any questions? I don't think so. Let's see. So everybody tell me in chat what your plans are for next week. Does anyone have anything really fun you're going to go do? Are you taking vacation? Are you going to visit parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers? What's your plans? Most people stay home for Christmas, I think, just because that's more traditional, more cozy, but a lot of people still go visit people, even if you do it a different day during the holidays. We're staying home, and my son and his wife, my granddaughter, and my daughter will be here. My other son came for Thanksgiving, so they won't be here. You're going to travel on Saturday. That's fun. Where are you going? That will be fun. That's the other thing too. It's winter and travel is always sketchy depending on where you live. So, and right now it seems like air travel is a nightmare still. So not far. Mother-in-law's house. Yeah, see, that's not bad. My side of the family is all here in Utah. So we're getting together tomorrow evening for our traditional family party. And it's always a good time. We have a big meal, and I just have three other siblings. So we have a big meal, and then it's us and then all of our kids. And there's now two great grands in my family. My granddaughter and then my sister's son has a little girl. No, little boy. So there's about 20 of us. We get together at my sister's house. She has a big basement with a big family room, and we do um, some kind of Christmas gift exchange game, and we make it different every year. And Bert and I usually host it because we have too much crap, so we provide the gifts. And so he came up with a game this year that's going to be a lot of fun. So he typed out all these little messages. So we're going to have a pile of gifts, and he typed out all these little cards that are like um, the Monopoly game where when you land on the community chest. So they're like little community chest cards. So you draw one, and it will tell you something like, he just came up with all these funny little things that he typed up. And so it's like, let me think of one that he told me. Um, let's see. Now I can't even think of them, but it'll be something like, this happened. One of them was like, there was a big storm and the wind blew really hard and the power was out for 3 days. So um, exchange gifts with the person that is 3 people away from you, or something like that. So then, by the time all the cards are drawn, the gifts will have moved around the room like 50 times. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. And we have fun things like that. So let's see. Lynn's Vintage says, we have Christmas at our daughter's on Christmas Eve. We have always had Christmas Eve since the kids were growing up. Her households all of us. That's so much fun. I love stuff like that. Really, that's kind of what the holidays should be about. And yeah, enjoy that. Faye says, I had a strange thing happen, was co-hosting, and when they unco-hosted, they accidentally blocked me. I got a warning that I was spamming her or harassing the host. Oh, wow. So and it said I could be permanently blocked from the app. So did that person reach out to you and tell you it was an accident? Because so they accidentally blocked you. Yeah, if that's an automated message, so I don't know why it would. So has anyone else got that message? If I've never, to my knowledge, had someone block me in the last 2 years. I had someone block me about 3 years ago because I came into her show and started making comments about, it was someone who was selling crafts and that kind of stuff, and it was back when we were all new, and I made some comments about, oh, this is exciting, good to see you here, we have a nice community of crafting sellers, blah blah blah. and she blocked me and messaged me and said that I was promoting in her show, which I was not. Um, so I was like, whatever. But to my knowledge, no one else has blocked me. So you've had that happen plenty of times. Oh, okay. Well, then you're much more controversial than I am, apparently. So yeah, it's just an auto message. Okay, so that's why I've never seen it. But button to block was too close to the unhost. Yeah, to the unco-host button. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look at that and see if there's a way they could put that, because you definitely want that button further away from stuff that's more friendly, right? Because there's the remove from show. So let me just click on someone's name and see. So let's see, we have, yeah, block. When you just click someone's name, remove from show and block are both at the bottom, and as well as report. But I guess when you unco-host, it was too close to that, huh? Oh, Julie accidentally blocked Jean's eye when you co-host her. That's hilarious. Uh, the host was so embarrassed and almost gave me a heart attack. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. See, I've never seen that pop up because I apparently no one's ever blocked me. I haven't done anything. I guess I'm too nice or I don't co host very often. Yeah. I need to do that more, co host some more. I don't think about it, because I'm just so busy trying to just keep up with what I have going on. So I'll have to do that some more because it's kind of fun just to have someone else pop on and talk. Yes, I came on that one time you guys were doing that show where you had everybody come on for a few minutes and share. But it was right in the middle of that time when the co-hosting wasn't working very well, so it's like you had to restart the show. So, oh, so it was an accident, but I couldn't get back in the show, and it was a private class I paid for. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, that's embarrassing, huh? Well, hopefully they'll have you come back in. Yeah, it has been fixed, thank goodness, because that was a glitch for a while where you couldn't co-host someone and then finish them and bring someone else on. It was like one co-host and then you had to restart the whole show. It was a nightmare. So, yeah. So thank goodness that's been fixed. All right. Um, I have a question, legitimate question. Do you guys feel like there are too many raid trains, or does it matter? Like, I mean, I'm asking this because I'm like, are we overutilizing raid trains and they're not as special as they used to be, or it doesn't matter? I'm just asking because I was kind of feeling recently like raid trains used to be more special because they weren't as frequent, and now there's so many. Are we making it not as good of a tool as it could be? I don't know. Yeah, I love them too, and I still feel like it's amazing and useful. But if there's like 20 raid trains in the same category going on at the same time, it's like thinning the pool, if you know what I mean. Do you think they're going to run their course? Like people will kind of get sick of them? Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting because when it first came out, when they first made that a possibility, um, I'm trying to remember when they first introduced raid trains. It was about a year in from the time that I joined, I think. And it was revolutionary because it just made it so that you could really get your name out there better. And so it was huge. But And I did one round of co-hosting a raid train or of hosting a raid train. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this again because I spent an entire day. Well, first of all, I spent an entire month trying to get everybody organized, and inevitably, you still had people who something happened, back out at the last minute. You have to, it's like not for the, and I was just like, I don't know if I have time for this. So it's not a matter of not wanting to, it's a matter of I just legit don't have time. So, yeah. Yes, you guys do one once a month, different theme. Yeah, and I think in fabric, it's not too saturated, but there's some categories where there's like hundreds of raid trains almost every day. So I kind of wonder, we'll see. Because I do think it is a useful tool to help get, get noticed, get people out there, and everything. But if there's so many of them in a certain category going on, it kind of thins the pool, so to speak. There's only so many people who can go to these raid trains, and only so many people who can stay on for hours and hours at a time. So I don't know. Just a thought I had that it's like, just made me wonder. So, but I don't think they would ever limit it or do anything to control it because it's just something we can do. It's just an additional way to have shows. And one thing I really like about it is you don't qualify for the big rate trains, lots of rules. Yeah, too much for my brain. Does anyone know if, um, yes, it's hard to be on all day if you host a raid train. It's just like so much of a commitment. And that's why I'm like, I just can't do it right now to stay on there all day hosting. It's just too much of a time suck for me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so House of Coop was hosting well, they invented and were hosting that Vintage Wars. And then the last time I saw it, something happened. I don't know really exactly, but I think they've stopped doing it. Does anyone know if that's true? So, because I haven't seen a Vintage War since then. They have stopped. Okay. Well, that's too bad. So they broke that, whatever happened. I don't really know the controversy because I'm not fully in that category, but that was a huge raid train. And so they've decided to stop. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Well, and like there was probably the most well-known person who really got it going fully. Um she got really burned out and had to quit and turn it over to someone else because it was just like she was spending so much time running. That was omgyg.com. So much time running everything that she really wasn't being able to focus on selling. And she's like spending all this time she's not getting paid for. So it's a toss up. It's like, yeah, she's doing so much for the community and helping people, and everybody knows who she is, but she's not really growing her own business and being able to make the money she needs to make for her time. And so there's a toss up with that too. It's like how much time and effort can you put into something that ultimately, doesn't give back to you what you've put into it. So you have to be careful with that. So you had a handful of problems yesterday, but you're always prepared to step in. Yeah, and that's the other thing. If you organize a raid train and someone flakes at the last minute, you've got to step in, and run a show or something so that it doesn't get derailed. So, yeah. So, yep. I do handmade demo raid trains and they are great for exposure and networking. So much fun. Yeah. There's a lot of those. And I think those, none of those are like huge in getting huge audiences, but it really does help the handmade community kind of get out there and get some exposure, which is important. I don't know how I feel about handmade still. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, because you've got some people on here that are actually doing really well with handmade, but they've found a niche. They've got something that is popular and exciting and people want it. And I feel bad for the people who have some nice handmade things, but they aren't. I don't know. It's almost like you've got to make your own. Um, I keep telling people you've got to make your own exciting way of doing something that sets you apart, and people don't necessarily go, "Oh, handmade." It's like it's just you doing what you do. And oh, yeah, by the way, you're hand making stuff, you know? Because a lot of times I think people categorize, the handmade stuff and into just that, and people aren't really thinking that it just kind of gets lumped into a category and not enough people follow it and support it. And so it just kind of gets, because we don't have this huge, Whatnot is not like the place to go for handmade yet. And maybe it never will be, but the people who are breaking out are doing it in a way where it's because what they're doing is their own thing, and they make it exciting and they make people want to come, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's handmade. It's just what they're doing and how they're doing it. Does that make sense? So, yeah, Beachy Bean does well with her handmaids, yes. And it's because she's kind of made it her own thing, not so much that she's just sitting there, oh, I've made these cute little things, come buy them. It's because she's made it a part of what she does. And so that's what handmade people need to do. They need to, spend some time really focusing on what can I do to make this its own thing where people want to come just because, it's I've made it my own. So like there's a lady on, she's not on Whatnot to my knowledge, but she's on Facebook and Instagram, and she makes the super cute, I don't know her name. I just see her pop up and I like to watch what she makes, but she makes the cute sweatshirts and that have like where you cut apart cute t-shirts and sweatshirts and do flannel sleeves. And so she has people actually send her t-shirts, and then she pays them for the ones that she uses, and she cuts them and puts the flannel sleeves on or puts the cuffs and the sweatshirts and the hoodies, and they are so dang cute. So dang cute. And she goes live on, I think, Instagram, and she sells them out every time. So she previews the ones that she's made, and then she goes live once a week or once or twice a week and sells them out. And we need people doing stuff like that here where you preview the stuff that you've made, and then you only go live once or twice a week and you just sell out of the ones because they're so popular, whatever it is you make. So, yeah. So the key for you is demo live, only a few of my shows, but I get people ordering from my shop and ordering custom items. Yeah, exactly. So if you preview and show what you're making, and then you have people place orders or have people come to that 1 or 2 shows a week where you sell, and you can preview on other platforms. So you preview by doing, TikTok live or TikTok, whatever they're called, or the store, what is it called? Reels on Instagram and Facebook, and get a following that way. And then I think you could do really well with a lot of your handmade stuff. So, how many show formats have I experimented with this year? A lot. A lot, because I constantly feel like, I feel like if you get in a rut and you aren't getting as many people coming back, you have to do things and mix it up because people are constantly looking for something new and exciting, because it's all about, I mean, this platform, a lot of it is about entertainment, people coming to just hang. And if you don't have something fun that they want to watch, it's like you're boring and you're old. So you've got to constantly be mixing it up, adding new things, trying new products, trying new ways that you sell, etc. And if you can't, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't, that you have to have something new every show, but you definitely need to always have new and exciting things, either the way you sell it or the products you sell, or, new lines of products or whatever. You've got to always have fun new things, reasons for people to keep coming back, right? There's just so many things you can do, and you've got to brainstorm all the time to keep it fun and interesting. And I know that's exhausting. It is exhausting. But because we are as much of an entertainment platform as we are a selling platform, you've got, if you want to stay relevant, you've got to keep doing things to keep the people coming back. And sometimes that's new merchandise, sometimes that's the way you do your shows. And obviously, you get new merchandise, but I just mean like the way that you present it, new haul of this type of stuff, or, new lines of merchandise that are new and exciting, and or how you're selling it in bundles or not bundles or whatever. You've got to always be mixing it up to keep people happy and coming back. The daily watches on Whatnot 90 minutes is almost double TikTok. Yes. So, yeah. And honestly, I think, I could be wrong, don't quote me, but I think people are going to start going towards um, shorter shows, because expecting people to come to a show and stay, you're going to quote me, um, and stay for 3 hours, that's a big ask. It's a big ask. I mean, people have lives and things they've got to do. So I think we're going to trend towards shorter shows that are more impactful and maybe more frequent, but don't require people to stay on for 3 hours. Um, and if we can come up with ways to do that better and still sell a decent amount, I kind of like the idea. I'm experimenting with it maybe. Um, but it's been a problem because, you know, to make the amount of money I need to make to, because we're legit full time, um, it seems like we have to stay on longer, because then you get, because the people who are in your show at the beginning of the show, some of them drop off, and then you get new people coming in and out all the time. So you're selling to a completely different audience at the end of your show than you were at the beginning of your show. And also, how do you keep, if you go that long, usually it's like people come on the app and they see, oh, they're still on. You know what I mean? So they've moved on to other shows that have started. So you've got to do things to so yeah, I think the trend is going to go towards shorter, more frequent, or just shorter shows in general, where you're trying to pack it all in a shorter show. I don't know. And I think it's something to think about for sure. So, yeah, because I think less is best. Trying to fit in a good amount of good content in a shorter show and not expecting people to stay for 3 4 hours. I think A, your shoppers and your friends will appreciate it, and B, you won't be as exhausted and have harder time shipping if you do shorter shows. So, thoughts, food for thought, food for thought. Anyway, well, it's kind of slow on here today. It looks like I did put this show. I'm experimenting with categories. I'd have to let me look and see. Someone tell me go out to what category did I put this one in? Oh, I put this one in other craft supplies. So I'm experimenting with putting my walk and talk shows in different categories to kind of see, which category gives me the bigger audience. So I actually have some of them scheduled under community, some of them are scheduled under quilting, sewing, some are under crafts. I think I even have some that are scheduled under vintage. Let me see. Vintage decor. So yeah, I'm just experimenting with that because I think the community category, they're kind of the vibe I'm getting is that they're kind of discouraging community category shows because people were abusing that category and trying to use it as a way to not be in the legit category they should have been in and get a bigger audience, which I think backfired on them anyway. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, whatnot category show changes are a high-tech solution to keep attracting new views. Yeah, well, it's just, I was just trying to figure out, where, and I have this one under other craft supplies, and you can see my numbers are not where they're usually at. So that tells me that I probably shouldn't put it in this category. I should probably keep it in fabric. But then I feel like the people that are just seeking for help in general aren't finding the show either because community is more broad. So I don't know. I don't know. So QVC framework where the hour is broken up with special guests and set changes. Now you're getting really complicated. Set changes? Come on. I have one room right now. High volume categories will likely perform higher than small. Yes, for sure. For sure. But that's the other thing is they do kind of, with the way the algorithms work, they do segment you. So if you schedule a show in a category that you don't sell in very often, you get buried because you just don't have the stats in that category to be found because you don't have a lot of followers in that category or you don't have enough merchandise sold in that category, so it's hard to get found changing categories. You've experimented with rearranging my living room into 3 backgrounds. That's awesome. I wish I had room to do that. It's too much work to reset during a live show for sure, for sure. So you have like that would be like a production studio where you just turn the camera to the different set, right? Because aren't there production like studios where it's like on this side of the room, it's this, and then they just turn the cameras. So the cameras are like in the center. That's hilarious. I'll have to pop in and see. So a dining table, sofa, craft desk. Yeah, I don't know. My life's too crazy right now to have what my dream, of course, is to have like, something like 300 square feet just dedicated to my business, where everything I do for my business is all in one big space, but that's a dream. So, and I just don't want to invest the money into having that right now. You need 500 minimum, you think? That much? Just one big open area, 500 square feet? Yeah, probably. So, I don't know. So I've even looked at, so my son and daughter-in-law um kind of want to buy a house. And so we've looked into maybe selling ours, buying something with them where we all have it. But then I'm committed to sharing a space and a property. And I'm like, do I really want to go down that road? I don't know. I set my downstairs up for my Fox and 800 feet so far. Wow. Yeah. Well, and I have a big house. My problem with my house is the way it's designed. The rooms are all segmented up. So I don't have one huge giant room. And my basement is not a full basement. It's like a half basement, and it's just a storeroom, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom. So if I went down there and knocked down all the walls, I could have a big enough space. But yeah. Wow, their minimum size was 1,000 square feet, and third of the store was stockroom for excess. Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. They had one to show, one to go inventory model. Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I just have to decide, what I'm old. That's the problem too. I'm old. So it's like, how much time and effort do I want to put into something if 5 years from now I'm like, I'm done with this, you know? So hard decisions. Those of you that are young, you can make it happen. And I'm not saying I can't. I just don't know how much I want to put into something if I'm not going to keep doing it for forever. So, yes. And we have, you're old too, Faye. I think you and I are about the same age. So Bert's older than me. Bert is 7 years older than me. 61. Oh, I'm right there behind you. I'm 58. So we're close. So, I'm just kind of like, how much do I put into something if I'm not going to want to keep doing it in 5 or 6 years? So Kate used to store inventory in her parents' driveway. Oh my gosh. Was she in Florida? I mean, how can you store it in a driveway without it getting trashed with rain or snow or wind or Lynn's vintage? You're 70, but young. Well, yeah, it's all a mindset, right? I just have other plans, I kind of like to do some other things. And so at some point, I'm like trying to decide. She sells everything within 2 weeks. Oh, so it was pallets that were covered up. Yeah, that makes sense. And we have a huge piece of property, so I have a lot of space I could store stuff on. And we've thought about, building a shed. And I already have one shed that was already on the property that's actually a little building, but it's pretty small and it's full. So Yeah. And I just don't turn things around as fast. I wish I could. But I don't know. I think the way we do things is just a little bit more slow paced because it's hard for us to keep up with, getting shows ready and shipping because we don't want to hire employees. I just don't want to. I don't want to do that. I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. I don't want to be someone's boss except for myself and boss Bird around. So you can buy tiny home modular houses. Ah, there you go. I don't boss my kids around anymore. They're grown up, they're their own boss. And if they come to me for advice, I'll try and give it in a way that makes them have to make their own decision anyway, which they hate because they want me to tell them what to do. And I just don't do that anymore because I'm like, I taught you, I told you for all these years, I'm done telling. Make your own dang choices. I mean, I'll give them advice, but I'm not going to tell them what to do. So I'm done with that. Yeah, you're slow paced too, but I don't want to be too big that I need help. Yeah, I want my freedom too. Yeah, I don't want to have a business that I have to pay employees and start doing the whole, insurance and benefits and payroll and all that stuff. Ugh. So your kids don't ask for advice. I wonder why. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Good question. Maybe you did such a great job, they don't need your advice. That's it. That's it. That's what it is, Lynn. Mine are still young. I mean, my daughter's just now in college, so, she's still kind of needs lots of guidance sometimes. But if I had a husband that would sing in the background, that would be nice, though. Yes, that is nice. But sometimes he gets sleepy and I'll look up and he's like over there nodding off. I'm like, Bert. So if any of our shows are kind of slow paced, I've got to keep it lively because otherwise he gets sleepy. So your youngest is 41. Yeah, we started late in life. So, I mean, we got married when I was 20, but we weren't able to have children for 8 years. So we had 8 fun years of just us. And then we got all of our kids are adopted, and we adopted 3 children, and they're pretty spaced out. Our oldest, um, the next one came along 3.5 years later, and then the next one came along 8 years later. So they're pretty spaced out. So I'm kind of an old mom. I feel bad for my daughter because when we go places with her, everybody probably thinks we're her grandparents, but she deals. So yeah, we had a lot of fun for 8 years. We would travel and do a lot of things. I mean, we worked. Um, and it was, it's an emotional roller coaster when you're wanting to have children and it's not happening. So we went through all that infertility crap. And at one point, we were just looking at each other and we were like, this is ridiculous. And that was when we were like, okay, no more of this crap. And then we went through the adoption process, and that was amazing. And we have 3 amazing kids. And I don't think we could have physically produced anything better. So, um, so yeah, we're really blessed. So, and enjoying life, and it's hard because we live in a society, um, with there's a lot of pressure to have big families because we're um, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormon, and there's a lot of pressure to have big families. And so it's hard in that community when you can't have children for a lot of reasons. So we went through a lot of emotional, but we're both very realistic, very I don't know. I don't let that kind of crap get to me. I'm the kind of person that's, I mean, honestly, you don't like me, you don't like what I say. I try to be a nice person. Too bad. Too bad for you. That's always been my attitude in life. Um, and I'm not saying I do mean things to try and say, I'm not being like, I don't do mean things and then expect people to like me anyway. I'm just saying that I don't care what other people think about my life, but it was still really hard to go, to be in that kind of a community with families and, go to church, go with my family, and we're not able to have children. It's just hard. It's hard. And only having three was kind of hard, but that's more the norm nowadays than it was when we first got married. So the norm now is more people have fewer children. Um, you want a refrigerator magnet that says "Too bad for you." I probably should make one, huh? You don't like me? Too bad. So yeah. Um, I wish more people had that attitude, though, honestly, because one of the biggest problems for a lot of people is just, self-worth and emotional resilience and feeling valued. And I'm like, dude, if you're a good person and people don't appreciate you and don't like you, that's their problem, not yours, you know, because you're an awesome person. Take it in. And, if other people can't see the goodness in you, then that's their problem, not yours. So have that attitude instead. So it's, because you can only be yourself. Can you improve? Can you try to be better? Can you be nicer? Of course, none of us are perfect. That's by design. We're not perfect and we can always improve. But, if people are being toddlers, that's their problem, not yours. We are all always evolving, right? That's one of the amazing things about life is, you always have the opportunity to change and make things better. Take a hold of it. Take a hold of it. Always do more, do better, do something different. You can change that's the beauty of life, If you don't like what's going on in your life, change it. Change it. You have the power, in most cases. There's some people that live in places or live in situations that have a hard time changing it. I understand that. But if you live in the United States of America and in most situations, you have the power to change your life. Do it. So, yeah. Yeah, some digress to toddlers where you're selfish and you just want what you want and you throw a fit when you don't get what you want, right? We were teasing my son the other day because when he was a toddler, he was fiercely independent and always wanted to do stuff for himself. And so we're laughing because his daughter is starting to show some of that right now. And we're like, paybacks, paybacks. Because he was the kid that if you even touched something that he wanted to do, he would throw himself on the floor and yell, me do it. And you ruined it because you touched whatever or did whatever before he got to do it. And so we had to just literally everything that we were doing, we had to kind of make sure that he got his chance to do it. And even then, sometimes it backfired on us. So, because it was the me do it years where every little thing he wanted to do it himself. Yes, fortunately, he finally realized that at some point that it was okay to let other people do things for you. But it took a while for him to he just wanted to do everything, which is awesome. Obviously he was like, I want to learn how to do this. I want to do this, but it was hard when he was little and really couldn't do a lot of things. So he is a productive human. He's a registered nurse. He works in detox and psych at the hospital. He does a hard job and he's amazing at it. He's the charge nurse at the hospital and he's really good with those people because he's very compassionate but at the same time has the expectation for people to get better, for them to change their life and get better. And so, yeah, he's a good kid. I'm very, very proud of it. So, I have awesome kids. My second son works in the material testing career where they take in soil and samples of all different kinds of things for construction and test things and make sure things they can build. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but that's what he does. And he is constantly learning and doing new certifications for it and has a good job and has an awesome girlfriend that we love. I do would like for them to get married. They're on the slow track. I'm like I'm like that, the movie um Uncle is it called Uncle Vinny? No, what is it called? The one where um Marissa Tomei is the wife or girlfriend of the guy who's defending his nephew. My cousin Vinny, there you go. That I love one of my most favorite scenes from that movie. It was where she's on the porch and she's like, my, my time clock is ticking, as far as having kids. I love that movie. It's hilarious. So, anyway, that reminds me of that. It's just like, all right, people, my time clock is ticking. Stop taking all my time. So, anyway, so I'm like that with them. I'm like, okay, I want more grandkids, get busy. But they're kind of on the slow path. And I don't say anything because if you say anything, it's worse. So stay home. Okay, this is hilarious. I have a picture on my phone of him. This was when he was a teenager. He is my kid that is an insomniac. And so inevitably, he has a really hard time getting up in the mornings. And one year for Christmas, I bought him this alarm clock that advertised right on the packaging was something like super loud alarm, whatever. And he's holding that because he unwrapped the gift and is giving me this look like, seriously, mom. I have a picture of that on my phone and I laugh hard every time I see it because I have a scrolling, family picture thing on my phone. It's one of my favorite pictures. But yeah, he has a hard time waking up. So that's that's the clock that I did buy him. I have not bought him a I want grandkids, get the move on clock, but that might no. No, I've chosen the high road of I do not interfere in my children's lives now that they are adults as far as that kind of stuff goes, because I found that works better. Because if you do say something, then their attitude is like when hell freezes over, that's the look they give you. Well, that's the beauty thing, right? So he's with this girlfriend who actually is a morning person and more organized and keeps them on track so I don't have to. So, yeah. So, it's been frozen for most of this decade. I know, right? All right. Well, we're having fun chatting, but I probably ought to get off of here because I do have things I need to do today. Probably you all do too. So, fun combos. I don't know if anyone got any help out of this show for whatnot, but if there's anyone that needs help in here that's like, who are these people and what are they talking about that came in, they probably all left. They're like, what kind of seller chat is this? So if anyone's still hanging out that needs help, let me know. We are the awesome ones, exactly. Oh, well, thank you for being here and chatting with me. Because, like I said, I just get on my treadmill and walk anyway. So I'm on here chatting. And if someone gets something out of it, great. That's great. So I just figured out it was a give and a win win because I can be doing what I do anyway and still get on here and chat with people and help them out. Hey, Burner Nut, I submitted a request with your problem and found out that it is affecting other people too. So you're not alone in this problem. In fact, I heard from a big seller, like a big seller, who is their funds are being held too right now. So you did get it this morning. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that's good news. Hallelujah. So yeah, it was apparently affecting several people. So you are so welcome. Glad it worked. So yeah, I think sometimes they just need the higher ups to get notified that this is going down. And then, because they're just putting out fires all day long, you guys. And, you know, but that's a big one, in my opinion. That's a big one. If people are selling and they can't get their money, that's, that's the bottom line right there. Nope, can't have that keep happening. So I'm glad they were able to get the right people on that to get it fixed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we pay them commission, they get their part. When we're done selling, we should be able to get our money. Yep, agree. So, yeah. So glad it got fixed. All right. Well, I better get going. You guys have an amazing day. Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm glad I can pass that along. So, like I said, you guys, if you have feedback, glitches, things that are happening, please let me know because I do have a pathway to let people know something that's going on. And sometimes it can get fixed quickly, sometimes not as quickly, but at least they're aware because the way that the customer service works, it really does get bogged down for them. They just are putting out fires all day long. And so if there's a way for me to pass it along and get it quicker, handled a little bit quicker for you, I'll try for sure. For sure. All right, let's go find someone to raid. You guys have an amazing day, and I'm going to go get some stuff done because I've got grandbaby coming this afternoon, and that's all sucked into grandbaby time because when she's here, I'd get nothing else done. I'm lucky to even get in a meal and use the bathroom. So, because she's that age, she's the me do it age. She's 18 months and you have to follow her around because otherwise you're going to have a disaster on your hands. So she's into everything, wants to be into everything, loves everything. It's so much fun. So much fun. So, yeah. All right, let me go see who we can raid. And let's see if anyone's on doing anything exciting. Let's go right into Kristen Swain in crafts because that's the category I put this under today. She's a lot of fun and she always has legit shows, good stuff, good times, and she's a sweetheart. So let's go rate her and you guys make it an amazing day. She's doing paper. All right, here we go. Rating in to Kristen. Okay, there she is. Bye now. See you soon.